So I'd like to bring up right now to introduce our speakers and our candidates today, Judge Mark Russo.
Well, it's my extreme honor to be the moderator today. We do the chairs running, or the people running for chair of the state party. Those who are disappointed that Casey Campbell is not the moderator, you are welcome to ask Scott Dotson for a refund. So you get what you get. A little bit of house cleaning before I begin. First off, I found out that the voice of Rockwall's birthday is today. So Gary Friedman, happy birthday to you, sir. Also, as I introduce each person running for chair alphabetically, I do want to acknowledge that we do have one candidate for vice chair, Amanda Hopper. Will you please stand? I want to make sure that as they take the time to come here, this is a big deal. Thank you for being here today. We want to make sure that this is very important because with state party politics, this is whoever we select at convention is going to be steering into November. And so this is important. We want you as the men's club to get an opportunity to see. So take time, ask the questions, but we will be asking about 4 to 5 questions today. We're going to be having an open and close. Each open and each close, as well as questions, will be 2 minutes. So with that, please welcome our first person speaking today will be Abraham George. They will all be at the same time, but please welcome Abraham George. Next, we have Dr. Brooks McKenzie. And finally, D'rinda Randall. So the first open will go in order, 1, 2, 3, and then we will rotate those. And so the second question will be Dr. Brooks McKenzie. So we are going to do our open for 2 minutes. Mr. George, you may proceed.
Well, I walk in here this morning and I have someone tell me that there's a clay shoot happening, and the other guy goes, I have a new business that has a bar and cigar lounge. I'm thinking, why am I not in Rockwall County? So my name is Abraham George. I serve as a state chair for the party this time. And what we've done is in the last 2 years since we got elected was we were able to go to South Texas and flip 12 counties. Democrat counties turned Republican for the first time in a very, very long time. We added a Senate seat to the Texas Senate. We added 2 Texas House seats. We added 5 congressional seats that one of them is going to be in this area. You guys know about it. We've got to get those people elected. J.C. Yarborough is going to be an amazing congressman. So, he's awesome. Some of my friends who ran against Jace are here, and they're supporting him, and I'm very grateful for candidates who actually get behind the people who actually won. So thank you all for being here. The party raised about $15.3 million in the last 2 years, which is probably the highest record we had in a very long time. So our goal is, again, going into the next cycle is to do more of that. Flip more Democrat counties, flip more Democrat seats. And biggest thing we're going to face in 26 cycle is the Islamification of Texas. It is, as Senator said, this is going to be the end of us if we don't take care of it today. And I know you guys have a meeting after this, and I encourage every one of you, regardless of what's your position on this issue, make sure that you do what you can do to stop this deal. If you don't believe me, ask the people in Iran in 1978 or 1977 and ask them who they are today. This is not the same thing. So thank you all for being here. God bless you.
My name is Dr. Brooks McKenzie. Some of you I've known for years. Many of you probably have no idea who I am. I have no desire to ever get into politics, but I was forced into politics because my government became my enemy. My government decided it wanted to take away rights from me, liberties, my freedom of speech. We see people getting arrested in ISDs for voicing their opinion about porn in schools. We see people getting arrested in commissioners' courts all over this state for simply stating what they say, but they don't like it. Our First Amendment has been trampled left and right in this state. And what does that have to do with why I do this? It's because Republicans have run this state for decades. Yes, the Democrats are our enemy, but they're very open about wanting to castrate our children and do horrible things. But we have Republicans using our brand, our RPT brand, running around with it that are enabling this, because if they can't stop it, why are we in power? And so we've got issues all over the place, and we'll get into some of them, with absolute utter corruption. Our state is a money laundering industry. I have an expertise in everything to do with family and child. I've trained CPS directors going back to 2006, and that is one of the most corrupt organizations in our state. It was basically ruled unconstitutional in 2017, yet we still use it, and we haven't closed it down, and we haven't cleaned it up. And we have obvious stuff everywhere, and we have Republican appointees who've done nothing to do this. So if our party can't hold a Republican to a certain standard that involves God, honesty, and transparency, then we have an issue, and that's why I'm running for office. Thank you very much.
Hello, everyone. I love Rockwall. I got to know you guys whenever I worked for Senator Bob Hall, and I went to your events, and I saw this welcoming force of really dedicated people to our principles, to the Republican Party. It was so palatable in every single meeting that I went to. You guys are welcoming. You're fierce about our principles and who we elect. One of the
my timer telling me to stop talking. My apologies.
So, but that's what I love about this county, is because you embrace the Republican Party, because you know that our policies help all Texans, not just Republicans. That's why we are avid about them. And I love whenever it comes to Sharon Henson, she is one of the best county chairs that I've seen across the state, and I've seen a lot because I've gone to over 120 cities in Texas. And the one thing about her is, I said to her, what is y'all's vote? What is your percentage of Republicans in your district? Yeah, well, it's abysmal. And I go, well, what is it? 74%. And I was like, that's fantastic. And she goes, that's not enough. I want 80. And so that's her goal. And we probably are at 80% with the people that are in this room. But thank you so much for all you do, because we are the ones, this is your party. And we've got to do something better. And I have ran organizations, I've created organizations. I created an organization in Plano where it was over 500 members is what I created. And I did it through being innovative and from doing something, showing how much I love this party. Because we can keep building if we have the right leadership in that unites and it brings people together on the same message and on the same direction. Thank you.
All right, Dr. Bruce McKenzie, you will start off with our questions. Our first question, what is the biggest issue facing the state party today?
I think the biggest issue facing the state party today is the same issue facing the state of Texas and in our nation. So our party is the only party that claims to follow the God that I follow. It's all over it. It's in our platforms, it's in our priorities, it's in our preamble, it's in our core values. We are supposed to be the party of God. Our state does not have God within it. Look what we're allowing to happen to our children, and people are just now getting prosecuted. In our schools, thank God for Aaron Anderson, or they'd still be covering it up and nobody would even be getting fired. They'd be moving them around. No offense, Catholics, but like pedophile priests. They do that in CPS. When a CPS worker gets busted destroying a child, they used to just move them unless it gets in the media. But again, we don't have God, because if we had God in our lives and in our homes, people would say, no, you can't do that, and they would turn them in. But we have destroyed the nuclear family in this state. We have incentivized the destruction of children for money, the nuclear family for money, and this was predicted by science. So my PhD is experimental and developmental science. If there's anything you want to know about child abuse, neglect, or anything else, I will tell you. But I can also tell you the exact money flow that fuels our courts and our CPS and rewards them with financial federal money to break the family, and we excel more so than any state in the nation yet we are Republican and say we believe in God. That I cannot reconcile in my head. Thank you.
So one of the things that I think that is missing from the party is financial. We need to really work on our fundraising. We've got to make sure that we appeal to a broader donor base. Right now we go to the same 2 or 3 people to fund our party every year, and that is not going to be enough. It is not going to get us where we need to be. And so we need to go after the small donors and the big donors. When it comes to the Grassroots Club, I took that club and I grew it by 4-fold. And it was at $1,000 a month, and then I brought it up to $7,500 a month, which is $96,000 a year, which no vice chair has ever brought money into the party. And so, but I did that by traveling all over the state and talking about the Grassroots Club. I also got innovative in the fact that I put together a Grassroots X call and then also a digital magazine. And so, but what I want to do when I become chair is take that digital magazine and make it to where it is a full-time position, that somebody has that and they can sell ad space to companies that want to target Republicans. And also that we have candidates in there as well. Like we could have the clay shoot is going to be in there, different things like that. We can sit there and tell people all about it and get that thing out there to where it's a tool for precinct chairs, county chairs, and also voters. So I think that whenever it comes to, you'll see on your table and out in the foyer, there is the truth about where we sit on the TEC reforms, or the TEC reports and the FEC reports, to show you where we really are. Numbers don't lie. And so just take a gander at that, but I know that we've got to do better. The convention's going to cost us $2.3 million, and to run the RPT is $1.6. So just with delegates alone giving $15 a month, that's $1.6 right there. Everything else is gravy. And so I will be talking to big donors. I already am. They're excited about my chairmanship and the possibilities of growing this party, getting more people to run, and for more people to vote the way we do and for the things that we believe in. Are we done? Thank you.
Mr. Jordan?
Can you ask me the question again, please?
Yes. What is the biggest issue facing the state party?
Well, the biggest issue we have is 2 things. One, we have Republicans who act like Republicans, and we have Republicans who act like Democrats. That's our biggest issue in the state party. We're at a place where limited government is just a talking point. And that goes for local and state levels. We're at a point where state wants to take over the local control, and that doesn't work. Because the people in Rockwall, what you guys want is different from what people in Harris County want, what people in Collin County or other places want. We've got to have local control. You guys get to decide. That is the fundamental of our country and our state. And that's the problem Republicans are facing today. The fine line that we have to run between the state's government, which is controlled by us, and the fine line we have to do on the local government, which is also controlled by us. That's the biggest problem we're facing today. The November 2026, if we are going to lose November, it's going to be on one thing. That is on Republicans campaigning and making promises and not delivering it. When we have elected officials and party making promises to everyone in the world who really don't care about the state party chair or Congress or anything else. A random person who is out there having breakfast today don't care what the state party chair says or looks or does. What they care is, where are we on their property tax? Where are we on their gas prices? And that's the problem we're facing today in Texas. And if God willing, things change around, and we will have a place where we can win November 26, because right now, it looks really bad for us. That's the truth.
Ms. Randall, you will take our next question. What Republican principles or priorities are most important to you?
So I love in our platforms that we do center around Christ. That is something that keeps us focused, because when you're serving God, you're not serving yourself. And once you are serving yourself, that is when things fall apart. So that is something that I want to make sure that we keep as our focus when it comes to the Republican Party. Also, I love that we're against abortion. And more people are starting to understand it's killing humans. I am an adopted person, and my husband and I were fortunate enough to adopt our middle son, who's given us the most beautiful granddaughter in all the world, and that is a fact. And so that is the other thing that I love. And it's not laughable, it's true. And so, and also when it comes to protecting women, when it comes to Sharia law, one of the things that you see is that what they do to women, that's what we should be really talking about too, is the subjective and the oppressive way that they treat women by making them completely a non-issue, by not allowing them to even have their eyes be seen. Those are things that we have got to bring to the forefront, is that we are for women. We always have been for women. And voter rights is also the other thing that I love about us, is that we are for all legal Americans or Texans to be able to vote in our elections. We do not fight for anybody else to vote in our elections. And so that is something that's very important to me when it comes to voter fraud. We've got to clean up our voter rolls, and we've got to make sure that we get the SAFE Act done so it can save Texas. So thank you so much.
Again, restating, what Republican principles or priorities are most important to you?
Principles, I would say limited government and free market are the most important things that we can do today, because that's where we're lacking. More than anything else, that's our problem today. As for the priorities concerned, in 26th convention, this convention that's coming up, I will be advocating for two major things. One is stopping the Islamification of Texas, and the other is ending property tax. Property tax into a point that I tell you, I met a guy, an older gentleman, who told me at the Capitol that he had to take a mortgage on his house that he paid off 30 years ago so he can pay property tax and he can keep that house. This is where we are at, and that has to stop. So limiting the government and running the free market, it will change the trajectory of our state, and only Republicans can do that. Democrats don't talk about limited government. They don't like government. They believe government is their God. Because if you try to touch the government in a Democrat state, they will come after you like you were about to go kill their God. Because it is. For us, our rights comes from our God Almighty. And our goal in this cycle is to make sure that we go full limited government. And Governor Abbott is on board with it. And Lieutenant Governor is on board with it, and I think Speaker is on board with it. We're not always on a speaking terms, but we are working together to get there. So they're all coming to the convention, regardless of all of this noise about, we're not working with the officials. That is not true. They're all coming to the convention. Speaker haven't been to our convention, or a speaker haven't been to our convention in a couple of decades. So we're building the party together. We're bringing it together. We can disagree, and you can question him on his policies when he gets there. That's the whole point. Talk to your legislators. Be there for the convention. Thank you.
My most important principle will always be God, because that fixes everything. You follow God, it fixes your funding. You follow God, it fixes your families. You follow God, it fixes your taxes. You follow God, it fixes your borders. Otherwise, God was a liar and the Bible is not true. So God either is or he is not. And so along that line, the nuclear family is where God comes from. It does not come from the Baptist church that I used to go. So I used to live in Rockwall up until 2021, and I used to go to the Baptist church over here because they gave me a gut punch message that reminded me of what sin is. So I don't need to go to a church that tells me that I'm okay and I'm blessed as long as I do this, and tithe. I need to go to a church that tells me how exactly I'm going to hell, because I will use every single loophole in the world to avoid doing the hard thing. And the easier, softer path is never of God. It is never of God. And so with that in mind, we are being invaded with the Sharia Islamification of our state. And I believe that number 2 is judicial accountability, which fixes number 1, because if our laws were actually followed, DAs actually prosecuted commissioners, city councilmen, people on ISDs who covered up for their pedophile and sent them to another school with a recommendation letter. Why is that superintendent not in prison? For treble damages. So if we had a country that, or a state that followed God, but the judicial accountability, everything runs through it. But I think number 1 is Sharia, because it is such an existential threat that if we do not wake people up, we will be 2 years, we're done. They will take over so many city councils and commissioners' courts, and it's not just Sharia. It's not the only one. We are H-1B1 visas. Good Lord, look around. They are taking over entire cities where they're building new businesses for that. But God, the nuclear family, but as far as my priorities, Sharia has to be stopped as long as with the others, and we have to get back simply to judicial accountability, because every bill will run through a court, and we've seen what activist judges do on the national and the state level all over the place. Thank you.
All right, Mr. George will be our next one.
Oh, I'm sorry, I went the wrong way.
George, what person do you believe best exemplifies a Republican?
Are you looking for an actual person? All right, so I think my favorite person in the Republican Party is Ronald Reagan. The reason, I know I love Trump. He was Republican, we're all Republican. He died because they killed him because he said all the things they don't want to be propagated. That's why they killed him. Between Ronald Reagan and Charlie Kirk, I think that combination shows who we are and who we're supposed to be. So that's my favorite people in the world in Republican circles.
And the question is, what person do you believe best exemplifies a Republican?
Rustin Wright, raise your hand for me, sir. That man in the back of the room has been in the Republican Party battling corrupt family courts for 20 years. Ms. Creasy, raise your hand for me. Eileen, talking to you, raise your hand. This woman has been lobbying in D.C. for decades, and has come home to find out what a pit her state is, and is extremely active. Mr. Rocha, will you raise your hand, please? He's behind the camera right there. That man is at more events, at more conservative, hardcore things than just about any candidate. He's there taking the pictures. This room is full of Republicans and conservatives. I do not worship my representatives. They work for me. They are my effing employees. They are not the example by which I put my thing up to. I put it up to the people because this is a grassroots party. These are the people that allow you to be elected. Mr. Vick's in here somewhere we have some awesome people, and that's who I recognize. As far as a politician, I love Brandon Gill. But he works for us, and we are the people that put him there. And so the people in these rooms are the ones who control the party, and if that ever changes, we lose the party and we lose this state. Amen.
Well, of course, they both took my answers, but that's all right. But Reagan is somebody that we all loved because he was warm, he was friendly, he was engaging, he was the greatest communicator we've ever had. Trump, on the other hand, is a bull in a china shop, but he gets things done, and he is somebody that takes no BS from anybody, and that's what I love about him. And I love Sarah B. Huckabee, but Brooks is also right. Dr. Brooks McKenzie is also right. And the fact that you guys are what makes the party. You guys are the ones that voted for Reagan. Some of you are younger that you didn't, but we voted for Trump. This is what you guys do every day. And I've traveled to over 120 cities, like I said. And the thing is that I have met the most incredible Texans on the planet, and they are all actually helping me with my campaign, and they are doing things that are just miraculous. You go to my website at DrindaRandall.com. No, that's my other website, randallfortexas.com. And then reddertexas.com, you go there and you see what a group of volunteers that believe that I will be the right chair, what they can do. And you just tap into those souls, and they're the ones that will work hard, that will get the right people in office. And I've seen that sometimes we get somebody in office and it just doesn't work out, or they change. And that's because we get them elected and we go, all right, I got you elected, see you later. And we don't talk to them again. We've got to make sure that we keep communication channels open and let them know that we're still with them, and that we want whatever legislation they are working on to pass, and we will make that happen. The people in this room is what make things happen with our platforms and all of the things that got passed this last legislative session. It's because of you. Thank you.
McKenzie, our next question will be, what does the party do right and where does it need to improve? I'm combining 5 and 6.
Oh, or 4 and 5? Or are we going 5 and
6?
5 and 6? Okay. What do we do right and what do we need to improve? I think I've pretty much answered that with every answer I've had so far. I will never step off of that square. Until we get back to God, and I'm not a perfect Christian. I wouldn't want anybody in this room to have my Christianity. I did not find Christ until I was 37 years old and I was working on my PhD. And I thought I knew everything in the world because I'm typically, no offense, the smartest person in the room, but I didn't do anything to get that. God gave that to me despite what I did to myself. So I had a TDC number before I had a high school diploma. I went to prison for DWIs in the 90s. I'm a dope fiend. I'm a meth addict. I lived homeless. I left home when I was 14. I'm the product of no-fault divorce and fatherlessness, and every single thing that was ever predicted about how my life was to turn out by science has come true, except for premature death. For some reason, I found God and I got sober and I got educated, and I was the state's expert on everything to do with what I had experienced, and I developed something that's used statewide and recognized nationwide as an empirical best practice for abused, neglected children. So I was a rock star in my area, and I thought that was where I was supposed to be until God said, no, you're supposed to go and live miserably and get into politics, because I will tell you, I hate this, but I will tell you what prepared me for being in politics was selling methamphetamine and acid. That's what prepared me for it, because it's the exact same skill set. Because when you look around, there are people who love the Lord and want to help you, and there are people who love power and want to use the Lord to get there. Jesus spoke about it about our churches. Jesus spoke about it our government. We are at war with principalities and powers. We are not at war with him or the Democrat or anyone else. We are literally at war with Satan, or the Bible is wrong. And we can see them everywhere in our government because they're not working at 7-Eleven, because that doesn't change our society. They're the ones who designed Roe v. Wade, no-fault divorce, everything that weakened the family, weakened society. And all I had to do was destroy that and watch it crumble. Because James Younger's in California being chemically castrated, and he was sent there by 8 appointed Republican judges. Let that sink in. Thank you.
By the way, I just want to say, one of the things that I love about being a Republican is somebody that has gone through the personal things that you have gone through, and then we love the people that we give a second chance to. I just think when you're that strong to come from the addiction that some people have gone through, and then to make something of themselves, and then come to politics, I think that's fantastic. But what I want to see out of the party whenever I become chair, I'm going to make it a customer service organization. We're going to service our county chairs. We're going to service our precinct chairs, our voters, and our elected officials and those candidates. I want to make sure that we answer the phone, the emails, all of the things that we are supposed to do as an RPT, and partner with our county chairs. Right now they feel abandoned. One of the things that I want to do as chair is have a county chair convention, and it'll be like-sized or counties that they will get together and they will have a synergy as to what they need to do and how they need to do it. The other thing that I want to see done is I want to see our precinct chairs have a manual, not just something on the website that has one lesson on it, but one that has a manual like we used to have, and we used to be able to give that to people around the state, and we used to train. The other thing that I want to see is I want to see our messaging. Our messaging has got to be better, because we've got to help our young people understand what we believe, why you are a Republican, and why we all are Republican, and why we fight for this party every single day. And so the other thing, that C is just, okay. So I want to make sure that whenever it comes to the youth, one of the things that I want to do is have youth ambassadors. They will be all over the state, because we've got to tap into their engagement and not let them fall away. So I want to have 5 regional people that they get pictures from the young Republicans, from the college Republicans of Texas, which have endorsed me, and then also from Turning Point USA chapters. They get those pictures of the events that they have been to, and they send it to us. We put it on the website, we put it on our social media to let young Texans see that the Republican Party hears them, that we want them to be involved, and that we keep, all right, thank you.
Again, what does the party do right, and where does the party need to improve?
So what did the party do right is 24 cycle, you can see the results. Trump, when I got elected, Trump was, our polls show he is leading by 2 points. Then it went to 4. We elected him, you elected him at 14-point victory. That's what the party did right. Flipping 12 counties, electing new people, Adam and Jose, new senator. So all of that happened because you guys showed up and did the work. What we need to do next cycle is more of that. But one thing I do want to talk about is my job as a chairman is connecting resources between the county parties, the precinct chairs, and elected officials and the statewide. One of the reasons that the county party this time, the first time in the history of Texas, will get a $50 check for every single person that shows up to the convention. It's an incentive program that we put together. The county, so if 100 people show up from here, $5,000 goes to the county party. And it's never been done before. We've added buses from Rockwall, from Collin County, all of those places. Amanda Hopper is going to be the vice chair, and she has agreed to take on connecting with the county parties and building the Texas GOP University from rebuilding it. We have multiple courses in there. We have to do better on that. We have to work with some of the elected officials who are amazing. Katrina Pearson is here. She's been a champion on the Texas House. So you guys got some really good people here. Bob Hall is an amazing guy, and I think Bob was here. So we have some great people here who they're the ones that they're the leadership, they're the example that the rest of the members have to follow. This is what the party needs to do. We need to rebuild every single time. You cannot say, oh, we've done great in the 24 cycle and say we're good. No, that's not how this works. Do it again, do it again. Thank you, God.
Mr. Randall, you will have our last question, and then we will do the close. So our last question will be, what does the roadmap to victory in November look like?
I'm not sure.
Ms. Randall?
So the roadmap is that whenever David Covey is my vice chair, that he is running with me, and he has been a county chair in SREC, and he has been a precinct chair, and so he's been involved. One of the things that he wants to do whenever he becomes vice chair is he wants to work on 100 candidates that are young Republicans to get into office. So he wants to help them establish that. So when it comes to getting in and being ready for the midterms, we have to get in and know on day one what to do. I've been doing this gig for now almost 2 years, and the thing is I see where we're lacking. That's why I'm running. I know that we have the energy all over Texas to get things established, to get things done. And so I want to make sure that we start the messaging right away, the customer service right away, that whenever it comes to the elections, we have a hotline that is available for people to call in, especially our county chairs, to be able to have somebody react right away. And we want to make sure that we get the voter integrity stuff done, because they are going to come out in force. Tallarico and all of them, they want to impeach Trump. That's what they want to do. And the other thing is that I want to make sure that we get the young Republicans in there to really work and get people involved, because those guys, when I have an X call now on Redder Texas on X, and the one thing is that I had 3 leaders of the that are young Republicans on, and we had 2,300 people listen, and that's because they are engaged and they are ready to fight, but they need a leader that's going to help them. The other thing that I want to do is have senior ambassadors. Those people are going to be in charge of building relationships at retirement homes. And when they build those relationships at the retirement homes, they get those people to the polls. The Democrats do it. Why don't we? So we need to be innovative and get things done, and we're going to win in the midterms.
Well, November 26th is going to be, I'll be honest with you guys, we've been polling, we've been looking at the numbers. It's going to be one of the toughest races we're about to face. It's because of Tyler Rico, it's because of what the economic state of our country is today. When you go to gas stations, it's $4 a gallon. People are looking at it. So what we need to do is a lot more field work. So in the last few weeks, I was able to negotiate a really good deal with the Republican National Committee, and they are sending in, along with some of our resources, we're about to hire 20 field staff. Well, their job is to come to the county parties and set up block walks for you all to cut poll books and work with you guys and get everything moving in the right direction. We are just added another two victory officers to the party, and they're going to be leading the victory from the top down, from our state level. We are asking elected officials to come on board as victory chairs. They can come on board and say, yeah, I'm going to take over, like Katrina Pearson will say, I'm going to take over Rockwall County. I will work with the county party, and I'm going to work with the grassroots because they're on the ballot. They have a lot to lose, and you guys want to get them elected. You don't want a Democrat in Rockwall. So this is a good synergy for the party. Just put it all together. And my job is to go raise money for it. We've just hired 20 people, and we're going to have to hire more than 20 people because Texas is not enough. 20 people is not enough in Texas. It's huge. So that's our goal. We got to get more people to the polls, and that's the only thing we can do at this point. If people see as Republicans are in office, I'm not worried about it. That is going to be, the apathy is going to be the biggest problem we're going to face in 26, and get people to the polls is going to be the target we got going on.
Dr. McKenzie, again, what does the roadmap for victory in November look like?
Painful. So I'm precinct chair in Tarrant County, and it is an absolute mess there. If you haven't heard, we lost that Senate seat temporary. I mean, and I'm not even going to get into that because that is a very long conversation of how that came about. But it all kind of ties together with what everybody else up here said. The Republican Party sucks at messaging, always has. They are horrible. Obama killed us in messaging. And the money he got was from people off of Facebook and TikTok. I mean, the thing that we say we're trying to do to get our grassroots to say, I'll give you $10 a month to be in this club, right? And we're not going after young voters, because who's the demographic in the primary I need to hit to win my primary to ensure I win in November? Because it's the primary race for most Republican districts. It is the gray hairs and the blue hairs and the facial hair, white people. That's who your demographic is, because that's your early voter, correct? So you don't ever see someone pour money into getting the kids from TCU or these colleges to show up. We'll do a show of it. We'll act like it, but we don't. But the Bible says, train up your child. And we're letting Caesar train Roman soldiers before we even try to get them in their 30s. How many people in this room are below the age of 35? Raise your hand. My point right there. Why is this room, this is a men's group. Why is this room not packed with men who are getting ready to go shoot something, kill something, hunt something, fix something, put some porch on an old lady who can't afford air conditioning? Why is this room not like the church? Why are we not doing missions in our area? Because our young men have given up because they see the world that's ahead of them, and we're not down there pulling them up. And the other side is saying, hey, cut off some penises, get blue hair, have a cat, and scream at people like a Karen in your life will be great, and we'll actually give you funding for it. We have to target the young people. We had Charlie Kirk die, and there are millions of young people across this nation who no one is reaching out to except for our enemy. Messaging is how we do it, and we've done pitiful for decades. Thank you.
First, you go on closing sound, and so your closing comments, 2 minutes. So, yes, you will be close to something.
The truth is, guys, we have a huge work ahead of us, and we are putting the infrastructure together. At this point, we have field staff coming on. Our convention looks great. It's about a $2.5 million project, and we're going to be good. We raised enough money for that, and we have about $15.5 million in the last 2 years. We're probably going to need more than that to finish off a huge cycle that's coming on our way. My goal is this. You can probably see, I'm not the most cheery person in anything. I'm actually the worker who goes and does the work. That's my goal. My job is to get things done, and that's why we show up to places and get things done. In 2026, my goal is to even flip more seats. HD 70 out in Collin County is a Democrat seat. That is a flippable seat. My goal is to elect every SBOE Republican, so we actually have an SBOE by real Republicans. This is where this is the battle today. And Amanda Hopper is an amazing person. She's done this in Weiss County. She put together a great group of people, Weiss County conservatives, along with Andy Hopper, one of the most conservative members of our Texas House. Those two guys, Andy and Katrina and Bob Hall are like the cream of the crop in Texas House and in the Senate. And they do an amazing job. We need more of those, and that's our job. At this point, getting those kind of people elected is what the Republican Party should be focused on, and defeating the Democrats. You can't have Talarico because he thinks God is non-binary at this point. I don't know what that means, but whatever that means, that's the fight that we're facing in 26. So God bless you all. Thank you all for having me. It was my privilege to serve you for 2 years. I'm looking forward to another 2 more years.
I probably said everything y'all need to hear from me. My stuff is the same over and over and over again. If you believe in the same God I do, he's very clear that if you follow him, nothing shall stand before you, nothing will harm you. And that's the truth. And if we get the Republican Party even closely aligned with that, we will never need to fundraise again. We'll never need to anything, because God either is or he is not. And I don't believe my God's a liar, and so I'm going to cede my time. Thank you.
Thank you. So thank you all for having me out. It's always great. It's always a great day to be in Rockwall, and you guys know that. But I worked for Senator Bob Hall. I was his district director, and it was total blessing. And what you see here as a leader is who he truly is. He is that to the core. And then also I worked for Ken Paxton. I worked for Angela Paxton. I worked for Scott Turner, who's now head secretary. And so these people that I worked for were people that we all believe in and that have not changed. They have not changed from who they are when they campaign to who they become. And so I was a precinct chair for 12 years, a presiding judge in Harris County of all places. And I also had that club in Plano that I built to over 500 in membership. But I had 40 women on my board, 40 type A women that I got them to all go the right direction, and with giving them the vision, they came on board, they made it happen. And so that's what I do, is I do have a vision, and I can motivate people to go in the same direction to get it done. We have a huge election coming up in November, and the thing is I know we can be ready. I know that what they're saying, but the thing is that I see that we can work with the churches. In Harris County, I worked with 17 churches on voter registration. And that was just in 2024. We can do that again. We need to have a voter registration drive that is statewide. And so these are things that I see that we can do, and we do it together. I also did a billboard campaign, and when it came to the billboard campaign, we had that in South Texas. I raised the money for that. I made that happen with having pictures of Trump, and getting the 12 counties out of the 14, we've got to keep them. And how you keep them is you keep the messaging strong, because we've got to show them the lunacy of the left at all times, because they have gone crazy. And our policies, like I said, is what's best for all Texans, and we're going to communicate that on day one. Thank you.
you all, and thank you for being here today, but a little bit of other final housekeeping. On your tables, there is, as we heard earlier about what do we do in the community, on your card you'll see that we have the Man in Arena cards placed on the table with Teddy Roosevelt. We are going out into the community and making a difference. So if you would like to be a part, please sign that card and get involved. We would love to have you be a part of that. This is not easy. So one more time, will you please go around, you all stand, and thank you for making a difference and putting yourself out there.
You did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Judge Russo, and thank you for all of our great candidates. If I can have the candidates stay up here, and if we can have our representatives, Representative Pearson and Senator Hall come to the front with our chairwoman, Sharon.